We are 1 month away until the college basketball season begins. So here's my way too early 2020 Final Four prediction. Now in this journey, I'm going to give you my Final Four teams, but I'm also going to let you know who I think is going to be playing in the national title game, as well as my prediction for the 2020 national champions. Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, there are about 6 or 7 teams that I think are worthy to be able to make it to the Final Four this season. But I'm going to give you my prediction on 4 teams that I think will be playing in Atlanta and how each one of those teams will fare once they get there. Now, the most obvious choice is Michigan State. The Spartans look to make back-to-back Final Fours for the first time in a decade. And I think that they're going to do it largely because of Player of the Year candidate in Cassius Winston. Winston is trying to become the first D1 player with 2,000 points and 1,000 assists in his career. Now, most experts will have Michigan State ranked number 1 heading into the season, and rightfully so. As I discussed in my top 10 college basketball team video, the Spartans have the look of a national champion, no doubt about it. Now, every team, as we know, has questions, and included these top 4 teams, I think the Spartans are no exception with the questions that they have. Now, Coach Izzo has made it known that he's still in search for a big man that's going to be able to play alongside Xavier Tillman up front. Now, when you get down to the Final Four and the game slows down even more, having those tough interior guys that can defend the paint and get those second chance shots, that's crucial to every team's success. Now, last year that was Nick Ward for the Spartans. So who's going to fill that role this year is the biggest question for the Michigan State Spartans. Despite that, it's a lot to love about this Michigan State team. If Joshua Langford can get fully healthy, as I do expect he will, he's one of the best two-way players that Izzo has had in a long time. Michigan State's early season matchups with Duke, Kentucky, and even Seton Hall, I think that's going to have them primed for a successful season when March comes around. Izzo's been known for having great regular season teams that fit perfectly with his tough personality. Unfortunately for the Spartans, I think this season is going to end like last year did with the loss in the national semifinal game. Next up, I have my surprise Final Four team, and that's the Seton Hall Pirates. Led by Miles Powell, the Pirates are getting a senior guard that has raised his points, assists, rebounds, steals, and field goal percentage every single season at Seton Hall. Now, guard play, as we know, is crucial in the one-and-done style format that the NCAA tournament has, and having elite ball handlers that can create for themselves and others consistently, that's a major factor to his team's chances of making a deep run. Powell is also an underrated defender as he averaged 2 steals a game last year. Now, we know it's hard for one man to lead a team to the Final Four regardless of how talented he is. And that's where Quentin McKnight, a senior guard who was in his second year with Seton Hall after transferring from Sacred Heart, comes in. His arrival is going to allow Powell to be able to play more off the ball as he did last year. And McKnight averaged 9.4 points, 4 assists, and 1.6 steals last season. Quentin's going to need to be more aggressive when he has the ball in his hands this year so that he can take some of that scoring load off of Powell. Now, realistically, Seton Hall can only expect so much from McKnight, and I think that's where Miles Kell comes in once again as he tries to improve his scoring. He was last year the number 2 scorer for the Pirates, and the 6'6" wing shot 38% from deep, and he's going to need to continue knocking down those deep balls if he wants to continue to help them go to that next level. Now, up front, Seton Hall's going to rely on Sandro Mamakalushevich. I think I said that right. Because last year, 6'10" Sandro averaged 9 points, 8 rebounds, and it was one of the best front court defenders in the entire Big East. Incoming 4-star freshman Tyrese Samuel will provide depth up front, along with 7-1 transfer from Florida State, big man Ike Obiagu. Now, last year, Ike Obiagu averaged 2 blocks a game in just under 11 minutes of play. That's insane rim protection for such a short period of time on the court. Now, you add in 7'2", 260 Romario Gill, and the Pirates have a roster that features legit size up front. I'm talking about NBA level size up front. Also, big time scoring on the perimeter. And Seton Hall is definitely going to be my sleeper pick here. I'm picking them to make it to the Final Four this year before losing to the national runner-ups. I like what Coach Kevin Willard is building with Seton Hall, and this is going to be the best season that the Pirates have had since 1989 when Coach PJ Carlesimo led Seton Hall to the national championship game. Down to the last 2 teams, and these 2 schools I picked to not only make the Final Four, but these 2 teams I have playing for the national championship. First up, I'm going with the Rock Chalk Kansas Jayhawks. Last year's second round upset to Auburn, I'm sure, still stings for the Kansas faithful. And despite the talent Kansas is losing, few teams will return as much talent as the Jayhawks. Now, when you combine the returning talent with the incoming production, I think that Kansas has the perfect mix for a deep run this season. After starting every game last year, Devin Dotson will hold down the point guard spot once again. Last year, he put up 12 points on 48% from the field and 36% from three. Now that was really good for a freshman, but when you add in 3.5 assists and almost 4 rebounds, that's just as impressive. On the perimeter with Dotson will be a combination of sophomore Osha Agbaji, Iowa transfer Isaiah Moss, who shot 42% from deep last year, and junior guard Marcus Garrett. Now Kansas is looking to be able to put out a 3-guard lineup most nights, so that way they keep the perimeter talent on the floor as much as possible. But it's that NBA-sized front court that's going to be the strength of this Jayhawks team. Led by Sylvia De Sousa and Udoka Azubuike, these two are going to absolutely dominate teams off of their sheer size, strength, and athletic ability. The Jayhawks are going to be bringing in off the bench Kansas top recruit Jalen Wilson, as well as returning big man David McCormick, that scored 11 points in the second round loss to Auburn last year. This Kansas squad is led by Hall of Fame coach Bill Self, and they should not only dominate the Big 12, but they're my pick to not only make the Final Four, but as I said, they're going to be playing on Monday night for the national title. Anyone who thinks that Kansas can win it all, I'm right there with you. There is no team that has an outright claim of being better than them off of sheer talent. As Bill Self looks to make his 4th Final Four and win his 2nd national title, I think that experience that Coach K has with 12 Final Fours and 5 national titles, plus the motivation to revenge the Elite 8 loss to Kansas a couple years ago, along with the gang of talent in Durham, I think that proves to be just enough to end the Jayhawks season 1 win short of another title. That's right, I'm going with the Duke Blue Devils to win their 6th national title. Duke's season last year ended with a stunning loss to Michigan State in the Elite 8, but when Trey Jones decided to return to school, that defense and leadership that he brings put the Duke Blue Devils back on the map, and it kept them in that national title hunt. Now, alongside Trey Jones, I expect Coach K will start 4 freshmen, and this freshman class, though it's not the best in the nation, it could be one of the most successful in Duke's illustrious history. On the wings, you got Cassius Stanley and Wendell Moore, 2 ultra-athletic guys who have legit ball-handling ability, and the potential for them to be solid two-way players is there. Now, if you haven't seen Cassius Stanley highlight package, you better check him out. This kid is insane, and he just broke Zion Williams' vertical leap record at Duke. Need I say any more? Listen, Coach K has been known to shorten his rotation to about 7, maybe 8 guys on most years. But I think he's going to have so many solid backups this year, he may be forced to have to play up to 9 guys deep. Now, in case of emergency on the perimeter, he's going to have guys like Jordan Goldwire, Alex O'Connell, and Joey Baker to fill out on the perimeter. But it's up front where things get really interesting for this Duke squad, as I think the Duke's inside-outside duo featuring Matthew Hurt and Vernon Carey, it could be scary good. Listen, Hurt is dangerous from anywhere on the court and is a knockdown shooter from the outside. His shooting forces defenses to have to close out, but he also has a knack for putting the ball on the floor and blowing right past him to get to the basket. Now, it's big man Vernon Carey that I think is the key to this Duke team. If they're going to become the national champions as I expect, it's going to be the dominance of Vernon Carey that spearheads this Duke attack. Carey at center is the top recruit for Duke has coming in, and he is an absolute giant in the paint at 6'10", 275 pounds. And the truth to be told, he literally can't be stopped one-on-one. He reminds me a lot of Jahlil Okafor, the big man that led Duke to a title back in 2015. And like that Duke championship team, this year's squad has a lot of depth and versatility, especially when you look at the guys that are coming off the bench. Coach K is going to be able to bring in Javin DeLaurier and Jack White up front to provide the veteran minutes that's going to be able to allow those freshmen to get a little quick breather here and there. Now, Coach K, as we know, is seeking his 6th national title, and he's been criticized for not winning championships with so many loaded classes before. The difference, however, I think is going to be Trey Jones. I expect that Jones is going to be a Bob Cousy Award finalist, and I think that he's going to lead this talented group of freshmen to get revenge over Michigan State in the semis, and then he's going to lead them to knocking off Kansas for the national title game. Listen, the college basketball season is right around the corner, so it's time to go ahead and put those predictions down on the record. Go down to the comment section below and let me know who you pick as the 4 teams to make it to Atlanta in the 2019-2020 Final Four. As always, I appreciate you taking a look at this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel, hit that like button, and also make sure you tap that notification bell so that you can stay updated with the journey of a Ballaholic.